Do you fly first class? I don't. I'm from Sweden. And I'm an artist, so it comes without saying. But I recently actually flew first class, long distance. I was given a ticket, and I must say it was amazing. It was like a champagne breakfast in bed for like 10 hours. Came to my destination, China. I was working as a chief architect for a hotel thing, and spent the week there. Lovely week, but all the time I couldn't help thinking, I want to go home. I didn't want to come home. I just wanted to go home. Just getting that emotion again. So I went on the plane, coming to the plane, dressed, casual, smart, coming in, getting my bed, the chair bed, whatever it is, and they pamper you like, and sir, what kind of dressing would you have for your salad? Would you like maybe the passion fruit dressing? Yes, I'd like that. It's just lovely. It's just lovely. So just lying there watching a couple of movies, it turns dark after a while, it's shaded up, and you have your blankets and your slippers and your cushions, and you lie there, lying there, and all of a sudden I feel an urge to fart. You've all been there, and the thing is that there's no one around me, really. No one there. It's a family over there, and some very few people in the luxurious department. So I'm thinking, okay, the problem is, though, I don't fart. I shart. Okay, so I go like, nay, I fart. So I go to the toilet. It's only one toilet, and then it's a small kitchen as it is on airplanes, even in the luxurious department. So I go in there and go like, and I find the plastic bag and I throw away my underwear, and I see that the catastrophe isn't that big actually, but the problem is I'm wearing white trousers. Okay. So I'm thinking, idiot, going back to my seat, and my stomach starts to this is not good. So I go back to the toilet, and it's the floods. I don't have to explain that more. It's terrible. Go back to my bed, have to go again, go back to my bed, and I'm like, hey, this is, I felt like $1 million coming in. Now I'm feeling more like a financial disaster, more like the Lehman Brothers or something. So I'm lying there, thinking, I'm falling a little bit asleep, waking up, feeling nauseous. And I think, maybe if I throw up, cleanse the system, I'll feel much better. So I go back to the toilet, and now it's very close and silent, and so I go very, very silently, and there's all the flight attendants have gone. There's one Chinese guy standing there, and I'm going towards the toilet, and there's a guy coming and takes the toilet, and I go like, what? And I'm trying to show this Chinese guy that I need to throw up, and he points at the toilet in the back there, and I look at it. For me, it's like 100,000 kilometers away. It's coming now, And I panic, and I look at him. And inside, I see myself, throwing up all over the whole luxury kitchen there. And the only thing I see is in the corner, there is a shape, very much like this one. So it's stationed there in the corner, and I think that's my only chance. So I go in, and I hit my head in the overhead, and I get just my lip over and go, no, this isn't happening, this isn't, and the third time I shit myself. So I'm standing there, I look up, and I have this Chinese guy standing there, not one expression in his face, because you can't lose your face in China. So he's standing there with a glass of water. And I go like, what? So I see the toilet is now free, so I go into the toilet and I try to do whatever I can. And it could have been worse. I mean, it could have been worse, but it's white trousers and I'm really shaking now. I'm feeling really sick. Coming out, and this Chinese guy is standing there totally blank, glass of water. And I go like, take the glass, and I think I have to fix this. I have to clean this up or something. And I go up there and I have a look, and all of a sudden, I get these tremendous emotions of success. Because I look into this, I almost feel the whole thing. But the thing is, I didn't spill one single drop. So I go like, wow. So I turn around to the Chinese guy like, and he's just totally blank, No. So of course now the question is, was it a success or was it a failure? I think maybe telling it to you now and you are laughing, maybe that actually makes it into success. But then again, maybe I'll be remembered, Mommy, look, that's the guy who shot himself on an aeroplane. So maybe it's a huge mistake, Who knows? And I think from a personal point of view, I think we totally overvalue success and failures. I really, really do. I mean, think about it. If you want, let's say you want to climb the highest mountain in the world, and you train maybe for 3-4 years, all the exercises and the food and the money and what it demands, and then one day you're climbing the mountain, and 10 meters from the top, you just can't take one more step. You have to go back. Such a failure, 10 more meters, super success. And I recognize that. That's probably true. But if that is the only thing we should look at, because that's actually the end of something, doesn't the 3-4 years count for something? I think it absolutely do. I think that's where the real value is. And you don't really know what's going to happen afterwards. You don't know what it's going to lead to. Look, for example, at the tower in Pisa. They spent 199 years to building that tower. They must have been so disappointed and irritated when it started to lean. They would fight. It's leaning. No, it's not. It's leaning. No, it's leaning. Yeah, it is leaning. And then it was leaning more and more and more. And all of a sudden, it was leaning so much that it turned into a super success because everybody wanted to see it. And now everybody goes there to to drink wine and eat ice cream and look at this leaning tower. So, man, it's hard to know. And I've done a lot of things in my life, building underwater hotel rooms and stuff. And I had my shares of success and failures. But my biggest claim to fame up to date is a failure. I have not put a red house with white corners on the moon. I know you haven't either. And I know the rest of the population on the planet hasn't either, but I have tried hard. And it's been such a tremendous journey. And how do you actually do a thing like that? Well, first you tell it to your friends. I'd like to put a house on the moon. And if they say, you're an idiot, Mikael, then you know you're on the right track. But if you have good friends like I do, then they come on and say, okay, let's try. And we start, building something up. And the interesting thing is, how does people actually react to a stupid idea like that? I think it totally depends on how much of their childhood playfulness that they were able to pull with them into adulthood, And you can see that very, very fast. Some people you present it for an hour, they're blank, Some people have just a few minutes, and you can see their inner 8-year-old coming out of the chest like alien, coming like, well, this is quite fun, actually, So we succeed in getting lots of people in on the concept, and you need to explain something like this. So one thing we did was place that house in very, very many situations, like a red house, and in Stockholm. We have the biggest spherical building in the world. It's white. It's called the Globe. So we thought maybe we could put a house on that to demonstrate, to have it as a vision of it. So we asked them on the Globe, could we put a red house on the Globe? And they said, absolutely not. But we're going to put a house on the moon. Oh, are you? Oh, okay then. Then you can put a house on the Globe. And it was an amazing event for me as an artist, And we have some fantastic people within the group. And maybe one of those I would like to highlight is this guy. He is our Swedish astronaut. His name is Christer Fuglesang, a fantastic person. He was taken up to the ISS, the International Space Station. He came down. One of the things he brought was a flag from his favorite sports club, Djurgården, and it was a big buzz about that. Then they asked him, would you like to come up again? And he said, yes. And then we had a meeting sometime before that, and I couldn't help myself asking the other ones in the group, don't you think maybe we could ask Christer if he could bring a small house up to the space station? Then we'll reach space. And our technical director, Sven Gran, is very famous in Sweden in the space community, a brilliant guy. He says, and they know each other, of course, very well, and he says, I don't think so, but I'll ask. So he writes a text there and then, Houston, Texas, comes back. And he writes, can you bring a small house? Absolutely not, I can't bring anything. Well, fine, you bring Djurgårds flags and shit like that with you. And I think Christer becomes a little bit annoyed. He sends back, this is how it works. Every astronaut can bring 10 items up to space. It has to be in a little box. This box can never be opened in space, and it can never leave the space shuttle. So it wouldn't work for you, and besides, my box is already full. So we go, okay. So takes about 10 minutes, and then he sends another SMS. And then he writes, it's actually one of those that shouldn't be able to come. He writes, maybe I could smuggle something up in my notebook. We think, what should we send? What should we send? You know, and I'll put that in the water. What should we say? So I make a small house in paper. And there's one guy in the Swedish space industry is a genius guy. His name is Emil Winterov. He fixes it so it becomes really intelligent. And we sent it to Christer. We said, could you take this up? I will see what I can do. He's up for 2 weeks. I'm looking at the internet broadcasting from NASA for all this time, and it doesn't come, and I'm really disappointed. But I'm stupid more than anything. I mean, it takes a couple of weeks, and then he sends, and then he took down with him. And it is a ridiculous little piece, but it's actually the first piece of art ever made for space, brought to space. And Christer becomes an artist here. He becomes a landscape painter. Here he writes, here, he says, the house is standing on Earth. And then it takes a couple of weeks, and then he sends this movie, and I go, wow, Christer, did you make a movie as well? We have to show it to the whole world. He says, no, you can't show it. I don't want it out on YouTube. And I go like, what? Now it's prescribed. Now it's okay, so you can watch it. But you see, he's hidden somewhere, I think, I always thought it was some kind of backyard, because there's a lot of stuff lying around there, and now he folds it up, and I met the whole crew, and they said they were spending hours filming and taking photos of this house. So this is actually one of the most expensive houses in the world. And here he folds it, and then he says, here's a smart engineer who was thinking. And we all said, that's Emil. Oh, yeah, very cute. And Christer is folding it up and telling the story, he becomes an artist again. But no, he's not only a landscape painter, actually. He becomes also a colorist. And so he says, I will have to move a little bit, so my red shirt doesn't destroy the imagery of the red house. So he moves here to the left. The guy is a genius. He's an art genius, you know. And when he moves, you have to look underneath the house, and you will see it's not just stuff all around. Look, it's even things flying in the cabin. Do you see that? See underneath. See. And he sees that as well. So he goes like, "Oi, a jar of peanut butter." Did you think that they were eating, disgusting frozen? No, they're eating peanut butter, playing with things. They don't really clean up. It's like any boy's room, And what should you think about this? I think that we have a nice. That is the one guy coming in. First, I thought maybe he's ashamed, but he's not, But the thing is that some days you shit yourself in an airplane. Another day, somebody smuggles up a house for you to the space station. It really. Life is like life is not just the tip of the waves or the lowest of the waves, is it? It's actually surfing on the ocean of life, and we all know that we're going to die anyway. So why not surf on the big waves? I don't, for instance, think that the Beatles were happier when they became the great Beatles. I think they were as happy when they were surfing towards, becoming. And I will now give you. As an end, I will give you a recipe for success. It's not the recipe, it's my recipe for success. I think that if you can find inside yourself what you really want, that is success, okay? If you also can find a challenge in alignment with what you really want, and you can pull all the playfulness you had as a kid and the creativity you have as an adult, your competence with you, Wow, that's a super, super success. And if you also can bring people with you that you respect and you love on this journey, personally, I can't think of anything remotely as successful as that. Thank you. Thank you.